Recently, I released 3 videos to the channel on the topic of autistic burnout. What causes autistic burnout? 13 signs of autistic burnout, and how to get out of autistic burnout. In this video, I'm going to take you through my own experience of autistic burnout and how I am fighting my way through it right now. So let's get started. Hey, Define Your Selfers. I'm Chris Mitchell from theconfidentautistic.com. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I am an autistic adult, late diagnosed, an advocate for autistic adults, and a digital creator empowering other autistic adults and the world to embrace autism. Now, if this resonates with you, please consider subscribing to this channel. When you do not forget to ring the bell to be notified of new videos and when I go live. I think I can identify the moment that I began my descent into autistic burnout, and that was on April 8th, 2021. It was a day that my wife was diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. Now, why do I think this is the beginning point for my autistic burnout? Because one of the contributing causes for autistic burnout is a life change, a drastic life change, an unexpected drastic life change that does cause stress or anxiety for a prolonged period of time. And I think this qualifies for it because at the time of the taping of this video, it's been 3 years and 7 months since my wife's diagnosis. During that time, our world has been turned upside down. She is wound up on long-term disability, so she's not working right now. She's in pain, and I'm now her primary caregiver. I take care of meals for her. I advocate with pharmacies, doctors, insurance companies, and I do other things to take care of her throughout the day at random times during the day. Now that I think that factor right there contributes to my autistic burnout because my what I'm planning on doing and wanting to do, and I'm in the middle of something, I'm laser focused, maybe I'm in my special interest, whatever. She needs me to do something. And I'm not complaining about it. I get it. She has stage 4 cancer. It's painful. It's hard for her to do things. But that interrupts what I'm doing. And I think that is contributing to my autistic burnout. I started to realize I was in autistic burnout when both my depression and anxiety levels drastically increased. I also started experiencing executive function problems, difficulties, and they showed up in the form of not being able to remember things like I used to. I have a excellent memory. I still remember my childhood phone number. I still remember my childhood address. I remember my principal's name from elementary school and high school and junior high school. Many of my teachers' names and even what time of the day I was doing certain activities. I have an excellent memory. I think that may be a sign or a special talent we have as autistic people. But I was starting to forget stuff, forgetting to do things, and forgetting how to do things. Like, for example, I would forget how to change my email address on a website that I'm a member of. I would have to go Google how to do that instead of saying, "Oh, I click here, click here." I would have to do that, and I knew my executive functioning was getting worse, and that scared me initially. Before I fully realized it was autistic burnout, because I thought, "Oh my gosh, I'm in that age group. Am I beginning to have dementia?" See, my father had sundowners the last few years of his life, which is a form of dementia, and I thought I was, but it turned out just to be executive functioning troubles. I also had an increased amount of trouble falling asleep. Now, like you, like many of you, I struggle with falling asleep. This is not uncommon in our community. I have since I was a little child. But, but during this time, as the autistic burnout has increased, my trouble falling asleep has increased as well. And I'm having more trouble staying asleep during the night. And when I do get to sleep, I sleep more than normal. I'm not sleeping my normal 5 to 6 to 7 hours. I'm sleeping 8, 9, 10 hours. And on the weekends, sometimes 12 hours a day. was I was experiencing more sensory overload. Now, normally my biggest sensory issue is noise, and then that's followed by light, then clutter and smells. And normally these items bother me some, but not drastically. But I was at a point, and I'm at a point where all noises drives me batty. Light is driving me more up a wall. My house, my wife can thrive in clutter. I love my wife. I can't, and the clutter is bothering me. I just look around and see all the clutter, and I'm overwhelmed. And smells. Always been sensitive to smells, especially the smell of grape bubble gum. My brother knew that. He chewed it around me all the time, and that gave me a headache. Now I'm sensitive to a lot of smells, and I'm sensitive to the smell of cat food and some of the food my wife likes to eat, which I have no idea. I don't know how anyone can eat Chinese food. Okay, I'm sorry if you enjoy Chinese food, go and enjoy it. I don't know how you could put that in your mouth with that smell. So my sensory overload was in overload, and now all the things are bothering me more. Which when they're going on, I'm less productive. I'm more stressed out, kind of like a vicious cycle. And that's when I knew I was in autistic burnout. And my stimming activities started to drastically increase, including talking to myself, which is one of my stims. And I developed a new stim to try to keep me from doing one of the stems that's really bad for me, which is I like to scratch up my skin to the point where I dig holes in my legs. My legs are all covered with bandages right now because of the increased amount of stemming. So I picked up another stem because I'm always fiddling with something. So I got myself a needle ball, and I like to play with it, bounce back and forth, and always have it with me. Well, the first thing I'm doing and started to do was to get out of this burnout was to manage my sensory overload triggers. I wear headphones whenever I leave the house, and I wear headphones around the house at certain times during the day. I don't in the evening because I want to connect with my wife, and she's requested that I don't. And to manage that noise from the TV, I will play on my tablet. I'll read a book or waste time by scrolling endlessly on social media. I also will retreat to this office, which I consider this is my safe spot. I can control all the noise in this office, and that helps me manage that noise sensory issues. I'm also looking for some sunglasses that will fit over my glasses. So when I go out in public and there's a lot of visual input and stimuli that overwhelms me, the sunglasses will dial that down, where that will make it more manageable. I'm also engaging in something I feel is kind of one of my special interests, and that is digital creation. So I'm creating videos and other digital products all the time. In fact, from November 1st, 2024 into January 29th, 2025, I've given myself a 90-day challenge of creating and publishing at least one video a day to my YouTube channel, The Confident Autistic. I'm also working on unmasking more, which means when I go out in public, not only do I have the headphones on, I'm also taking my needle ball with me and playing with it in front of people. And I'm not self-conscious about that because this is helping me. I mean, like the needle ball is one of my sims. This is helping me kind of work through my autistic burnout and manage all the things that are overwhelming me that's contributing to my autistic burnout being more debilitating. And I'm also trying to develop a routine. I feel if I have a routine, I'm going to be able to manage all the things that are going on in my life much better. The problem is, as I mentioned earlier, part of the autistic burnout is I'm having more trouble falling asleep, more trouble staying asleep, and sleeping longer. So I'm not waking up on time or going to sleep on time. And when I oversleep, I'm behind the eight ball. That's the expression meaning I'm already behind in the things I'm responsible for doing for our household. And that causes me more anxiety and stress, which fuels my autistic burnout. Now, I am working on developing a routine. I'm working on implementing it, and I'm working on hopefully having that routine help me fight my way through the autistic burnout. And I will be sharing updates on my progress on building and using a routine in future videos on the channel in this series called My Autistic Journey. And I'll be updating in the Facebook group, Autistic Adults Embracing Autism. Now it is your turn. Share with me any experience you've had with autistic burnout and what you did to battle through it. Your answers to that question and what you share can help somebody else who has watched this video or watching this video battle their way through their autistic burnout. So until next time, this is Chris Mitchell, the Confident Autistic, reminding you that now is the time for you to embrace your autism.